Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Welcome everyone to another installment of Game Over Calgary. My name is Matt DeMille, and I'm joined by fellow Game Over Calgary host and Game On Calgary host Anand. Anand, lots of storylines in this one tonight. Not only did the Flames visit Boston for the first and only time this season, but it was also Matt Coronado's homecoming, I guess you could call it, as well as a little former Flame reunion with both Elias Lindholm and Nikita Zadorov on the Boston Bruins side of the ice. So before we kind of jump into tonight's game, break it down, talk all things Flames, I'm going to flip this to you. How are you doing today on this fine Thursday night, Anand? And what did you think of tonight's game?
Good evening, Mac. Thanks for having me. Great to be back with you on this another episode of Game Over Calgary. Yeah, I'm having a fantastic evening. I was busy earlier today, but now relaxing, watch some Flames hockey, and get ready to bring you post-game coverage on Game Over Calgary, of course. And I think the Flames decently played well. Definitely, we had the comeback kings apply. We'll talk about that more as well. But I think better of all, I think for a bit of the part of the game, I think Boston Bruins were better of the team. That's how they come away with the result as well.
I agree. I don't think it was the worst game we've seen from the Flames this season, and nor will I think the Flames have played their worst this season. I feel like more is to come. But all around, I thought tonight was a pretty good game. There was definitely a second period lull that definitely ended up costing the Flames for sure. I thought their start was pretty good. I mean, I think the Bruins were going to come out flying, considering that they did get shut out to the Maple Leafs in their last outing. So I think one of the big goals the Flames would have had tonight is to kind of quench that kind of early game push from the Bruins. And I thought they did it well. You know, the Bruins got on the board early, but the Flames rebounded in literally no time to kind of back up into a tie game. So all in all, I thought it was a decent performance. And of course, like the Flames have just proven that they're one of the best third period teams in the league, and tonight was no different. So before we kind of jump into things tonight, just wanted to shout out our flagship show on the Game Over Network, and that is Hyperdrive Hockey. All things hockey across various leagues in multiple countries, whatever it is and wherever it is. Max, Daphne, and Kev have you covered for all your hockey news with a steady dose of fun and fan engagement. So you can you can find Hyperdrive Hockey on the Game Over Network YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Yeah, so switching gears into the kind of first period of our programming tonight, Anand, biggest takeaway, I guess, positive note that we saw from the Flames. I'll let you kind of dive into it here, but it's going to be the kids on the Flames roster. Matt Coronado, of course, as I said, returned to the Boston area, having played for Harvard, and now he's back in the area again with the Flames as the visitors, and then along with Connor Zary and Dustin Wolf. So I will let you do the talking now and let us know what you thought from the trio's game tonight.
Yeah, I think all three of them, ever since maybe the last game or so, they have been showing up brilliantly. We'll start with Mac Coronado. His game-tying goal against Montreal Canadiens, his game-winning goal in overtime against Montreal Canadiens, and his jump tonight as well. Ever since he's been with the backline Coleman and Coronado line, he's been amazing. I like to call it, or most people, I think many of our Flames fans likes to call it the CBC line, the Coronado backline Coleman line. That has been fantastic. Zari has been also having a good jump lately as well when he's with Zari, Kadri, and Kuzmenko. That's one line. I don't know if you Flames fans saw it, but Zari had a great move as well, dressing through like five defensemen on the Boston Bruins, and he tried to score, but then got stopped by Corpusalo, which I think Corpusalo also had a good night. And if you're talking about the Boston Bruins, so the fans there should be proud Korpisalo, and last but not the least, Dustin Wolf. Man, his first consecutive start in this season, and he continues to keep the Flames in the games. I think today also it would have really gotten out of hand if it was not for Dustin Wolf. But Dustin Wolf shows he's unstoppable, and he continues to do so many great things for him. At times, I felt so poor for him because he was left dry by a defenseman, but I think overall great work. And the kids, I think we are seeing what we expected. We wanted the kids to come into the lineup, show their resiliency, how they play, and we are seeing a Coronato, Zari, Dustin Will. They have been the highlight of this week, and will be moving forward as well. We have three superstars in them. I'm excited to see how they play.
I agree. I thought it was a really good night for the trio, and obviously it would have been pretty nice if Zari scored that between the legs goal that he tried late in that third period, and obviously that would have been the difference maker in tonight's game. So I'm sure the two of us would have went home a little bit happier if that was the case. But I agree. I think since talking about Coronado, changing topics from Zari to Coronado, I think since Matt got the call back up into the Flames lineup after having a little stint in or with the Wranglers. I thought he's looked really strong. Obviously, the last game against Montreal was his like breakout game that he needed to have, and tonight I thought was no different. Obviously, a little bit quieter on the score sheet, but he did manage to pick up an assist tonight, which was also really nice to see. And even Dustin Wolf as well. This is the first time this season he's played 2 straight games. And I think he earned it after his performance in Montreal, and by no means was tonight a night that you kind of put on the goaltender's shoulders as to why you didn't pick up the 2 points. He made the saves that he needed to. He played well. Obviously, there was a couple posts and puck luck that went the Flames' way. Of course, before he scored the overtime winner, Brad Marchand was a little snake bitten tonight, hitting 2 posts. I believe he was the first and second, or maybe 2 in the first. But either way, he hit 2 posts early on in the game, and it ended up coming back to bite the Flames. But yeah, Wolf was once again consistent, and he's starting to look like, I mean, if you ask me, he's starting to look like a regular between the pipes at the NHL level. So definitely super impressed with his game tonight. And then again, Zari, we say he's snake bitten. He hasn't been able to find the back of the net recently, but I still think that hasn't stopped him from playing a pretty solid game. I personally feel like he's one of the very few guys in the lineup that is consistently kind of trying to elevate his game in ways that you wouldn't normally expect, like play style, right? Like, I feel like there aren't too many guys on the team that have the confidence enough to kind of try and go between the legs in a tie game against, I mean, not on paper, but against a pretty talented team in Boston. So I thought the 3 of them played well. I think giving just shout outs to the rest of the team, I thought tonight was a pretty big night for Kevin Ball. Obviously a little bit of hiccups both like on the defensive end of things, but I thought he made some really nice plays, especially in the third. The first one that comes to mind, there's 2 right off the bat that I thought were great plays by him in the third to keep this a tie, or to prevent the Bruins from running away in the third and to help the Flames tie it up. And the first one is a 2-on-1 play with David Pastrnak, and I can't remember who the other guy was, but Pastrnak elected to pass, and Kevin Ball read that play perfectly and broke up a 2-on-1. And I mean, with Pastrnak being one of the most elite guys in the NHL, it's no laughing matter to make a play like that. And obviously his assist on Nazem Kadri's goal, that kind of rainbow pass that you saw flicked up that just about hit the scoreboard again, that were 2 really good plays that I took away. And overall, I thought he was one of the better defensemen tonight. What did you think about Ball's game? And maybe are there any other guys we want to throw a little bit of a shout out to for their performances tonight?
Yeah, I think Kevin Ball, ever since he came to the Flames, I know he had a bit of struggle. He was out of the lineup for a couple of games, I want to say, because of an injury, but then he has come back ever stronger. He's getting those assists in, he's making those plays. He's that one surprise talent that we have seen from the Markstrom trade, definitely. So Kevin Ball, kudos to him. One other person that I want to really give a shout out. I know Michael Backlund and maybe even Nazim Kadri. Both of them were, especially Backlund being quiet on the score sheet, but he's making those plays with Coronato. I think that line, which we say again, the CBC line, that's really good. It's doing well, although. Backlund remains quiet on the score sheet. And the secondly, I want to talk about Nazim Kadri as well. He has been playing, some careless moves from him. He likes to hold the puck by himself. Sometimes he wants to keep it with himself. He doesn't make too many passes. I think that's been pointed out already. But I think him scoring the top shelf right hand goal will boost him a little bit confidence from him. And so I think rightfully, I think I need to give shout out to Backlund and Kadri tonight as well.
Absolutely. And when you refer to the Coronado, Backlund, and Coleman line as the CBC line, first of all, I love it, but it also kind of takes me back to memories a couple of seasons ago when we had the Triple M line of Matthew Tkachuk, Michael Frolik, and I believe it was Michael Backlund as well. And for the Flames fans that remember, obviously that stretch of time with that line, they were pretty dynamite as well. So I'm all for clever nameplay when it comes to lines, and the CBC is no exception. Now let's switch gears into our second period of the show, but before we do, I just wanted to share that the Game Over Network is an independent production focused on community, inclusion, and quality people. If you're interested in supporting the Game Over Network, we have crowdfunding options available. In the description of this episode, you'll find a link to our Patreon page, and we're also working on a page through LaRouche, which is a crowdfunding platform for companies originating in Quebec. For LaRouche, we're aiming to raise $15,000, and if we hit that goal, we'll gain access to government grants that will allow us to employ more people. So obviously, the more people, the more content we can create on this phenomenal platform, and I'm sure that's exciting for both myself and you, Anand, as well. So if you have any ideas for what you'd like to see in terms of giveaways for maybe these crowdfunding efforts, let us know in the comments, as well as on Twitter, Instagram, and our Discord server. Our Discord server is where you can chat with both myself, Anand, and the rest of the Game Over Calgary team that comprises of Conrad and Peter. On there, you can message us on the Calgary line, as well as all seven markets across Canada. So if you ever want to reach out to any of us, there is the channel to do it. Now, switching gears into the second period of tonight's show, we started off throwing some shout outs to a few of the guys with pretty good performances, but we're going to maybe get a little negative in this second portion of the show, not specifically to a person, but something that has been brought up, and this isn't a common occurrence, or this isn't a new topic, which is, at least for me, the Flames power play. I know before you say anything, the Flames did net a power play goal, and they netted a power play goal in Montreal. But I think when you examine those goals, I wouldn't really call them goals that happened because of the power play. I still think this power play is struggling. I believe Calgary got 4 tries on the power play tonight, went 1 for 4. But if you ask me, it doesn't look good at all. There's definitely some glaring issues with the power play. For me, a big one is perimeter shots. I feel like that's the only thing the Flames kind of do when they have the man advantage, is let's kind of dish the puck on the perimeter of the offensive zone, kind of try and find a gap, get it to a defenseman, and put a puck on net. And from there, it's kind of a goal line scramble. Or if you're lucky, you get a tip like Sharon Govich scored tonight. So I think that's been not a massive factor in the Flames kind of topsy-turvy season that we've seen so far, but definitely we want the power play clicking, and right now it is pretty much non-existent. What do you think, Anand?
Yeah, I don't think I've liked both sectors of the special teams, and that's A, the power play, and B, the penalty kill. I think both of them have dropped off significantly. We have seen flashes of it, like you said, Matt, but I think really both of them haven't been the best yet, and that might come to haunt us in future games as well. I know. We have been getting rescued by Dustin Wolf. Definitely, we have a couple goal scorers who put on the show. But once again, if we're not able to convert on the special teams, which is including the power play, which has been a struggle for sure, I know they could make tweaks on it, and it is possible to make tweaks. They should do that because some days you see a dynamic power play, it works very well, and then all of a sudden it drops off. So I think it's in that mix of balance. I think we talk about flip flop always. Um, I think I mentioned a couple episodes ago as well when I was on Game Over Calgary that the power plays have been flops. You get one flip, you flop the next one. You get one flip, you flop the next one. So it's been not consistent. And even the penalty killing now, something has gone wrong in that. I don't know what factor is it factors into, but I win like both factors of the special teams, and this could be a deadly situation if they don't fix it right now. It's still early in the season, so perfect time to fix it. But I think, yeah, I'm not happy with both these special teams if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't touch on the penalty kill, but the penalty kill is also an issue. I think you can maybe chalk that up to a little bit of the Flames' weakness on the defensive end. I think that's just being amplified while it's on the penalty kill. If you look at the Flames' defensive group, it's by no means a top group, and obviously like talent wise, like you have Anderson and Uyghur as the headliners, and then besides that it kind of drops off a bit of a cliff for sure. But even the power play, this isn't the first season that we've seen issues with it. It's been a pretty common occurrence, and again, this season's no different. I feel like I'm reminiscing a lot this stream, but at least for me, like I miss the good old days when we again had a bit more of a talented roster, but like how many times would you see the kind of play where you have two sets of forwards behind the goal line in the offensive end, and you plant a guy like Sean Monahan or Elias Lindholm right in the slot, and it's kind of just a bumper. You toss the puck down to the guy below the goal line. Usually, it's either like a Johnny Gaudreau or a Matthew Tkachuk, and they just feed the guy planted out front for a quick one timer, and obviously like. Do we have the guys that are capable of maybe pulling something that off? No, but I would say like anything's kind of better than what we see in terms of this perimeter play. Like the shots in a game, they look pretty equal and stuff. But like if you really consider like what's a high danger scoring chance, the Flames will put 20-25 pucks from anywhere along the perimeter and will run the shot count up, but it really isn't going to do much on the score sheet. And even like two of the goals today, were they not just point shots? Like Tyson Barrie, first of all, again, forgot to shout out Tyson Barrie tonight, but he netted his first as a Flame and dropped got rid of his 21 game goal drought. But the Flames' first period goal was just a point shot from Barrie that found its way through, as well as the lone power play was, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was a deflection from Sharon Govich. But either way,
Yeah.
at this level, what the Flames doing on the power play isn't something that is going to win them games by compared to other teams that you see have a bit of a hotter power play for sure. And sorry, I feel like I'm rambling. That's going to be a common occurrence this season for me. But Boston isn't even a top power play team in this league. I'm going to talk about their last game, which was a 4-0 loss to Toronto, and Toronto scored 3 times on the power play. So it's not like Boston's known to be a team that is good on the power play or on their penalty kill. So if this was a game where I would say the Flames kind of needed to ramp it up in that sense.
Yeah, 100%. I think Matthew, you nailed it on that point. Yeah, we definitely don't have the elite scorers on a power play, but I think they can fix it though. I feel like they can be a little bit more dynamic, get those high danger chances and plans something in front of the net as well. And I think you have got a decent chance of doing well on the power play. I think even a couple games ago, I don't exactly remember on top of my head. I apologize, but I think one of the teams that who were barely bad, who were really bad on the power play, we gave them to score on their power play as well. So I think so yeah, the season so far, from what I've seen, again, still early season, but I haven't liked both the power play and the penalty kill yet. Lot of work to be done, of course. It's not too late yet, but yeah, I think that's what I've seen so far.
Yeah, and I guess like in terms of solutions and what to fix, I mean, I'm not a coach, so take everything what I say with a grain of salt. I mean, that's expected. But I mean, like if we want to go back to what worked in the years prior and planting a guy out front, I know it might be what would you call it? It might not make sense. It might not look great on paper, but like a guy like Ryan Lomberg, who's considered like a pest in this league, what is the harm in potentially not on power play one? I mean, honestly, at this point, sure, why not throw it on power play one? But like throw a guy like him in front of the net. Throw a guy like Pospisil in front of the net where your goal is to just not move, give yourself some or give your forwards some kind of outlet to kind of feed pucks there. And they're both pesky enough players that if they get pushed around, they're gonna take it versus, if you put like a Huberto there or like even a Zari who is maybe not as strong as the more mature defenseman in this league, that can kind of throw them around. Put somebody there that doesn't get thrown around as much, and then like sure, if you keep wanting to do this perimeter game that we've seen, keep firing pucks from there, look for rebounds, and just let the quote unquote grinders just like crash the net. I mean, this team, we've talked about it before. Like, this team isn't going to dazzle you with their skill and talent. Sure, we'll have flashes here and there, but like, if we want to win games, and we've proved it, if we want to win games, it's got to be those like nitty gritty goals that they don't look pretty, but a goal's a goal, right?
Yeah, 100%. The only thing, Matt, I kind of am hesitant to put Lomberg or a Pospisil is they also have that risk of taking those penalties as well at unnecessary times. If you look at that forward line, Lomberg, Pospisil, I think they are risk of taking more penalties, maybe on a power play as well. So I would go for a guy like maybe Coronato, try Coronato on a power play, Zari on a power play. Can you maybe try even a Kirkland on a power play? I think trying the odd man picks is decent, but I think Lomberg and Pospisil, I think they might create a bit of trouble. Not saying that they will, but from the nature of how they play, they could add a bit of trouble. So I think maybe stay away from them. Maybe put them on the power play too. No, unit two, no worries. But then don't prioritize on them on the power play one unit at least.
That's a very good call on the Pospisil train for sure. Again, I feel like I'm saying the word shout out a lot tonight, but I also feel like I have to shout out Pospisil today too, considering he didn't take a penalty today. I don't think he did.
Yeah,
I feel like he didn't, and he also drew a
yeah, I feel
penalty
like
for
yeah.
the change as well, which is pretty good considering his kind of track record, or at least recently. So kudos to him on that front. He also had a bit of a rough start to the game. Took a pretty nasty slash to the hand in that first or second period, and then he took a kind of rough reverse hit kind of right to the jaw area as well. So it's nice to see him bounce back and I guess not take a penalty today. Anything else you kind of want to add on the specialty teams front?
No, I think we covered everything for that second period. I think We tap all the major points I had at least.
Absolutely. But before we can head over to the third period of tonight's show, just wanted to share a little news on the Game On front for the Game Over network. As everybody knows here, Anand is one of two Game On hosts for the Calgary network. Anand is joined by oh my God, I can't speak today. Conrad Krausert, who is the other host for Game On. And correct me if I'm wrong, you might have a little bit more information than me on this front, but we are kind of re-looking the Game On market, and we're kind of looking to spruce it up. And I believe that will be Game On Hockey, if I'm not mistaken, the new title. But we are taking a little bit of a hiatus on the Game On front, but we will be back and ready to go even stronger with both Anand and Conrad as well. Anand, did you want to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, we're having a new look at Game On Hockey. Definitely, big kudos to Andrew Berkshire as well, and Graham of Game Over Edmonton as well. Both of them have been doing a really good job. We are in the planning stages of relaunching Game On Calgary for you, so stay tuned for that. It will look way better and different when the time comes. But I think I might not give away too much suspense, so I'll keep it a surprise for right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, I know I can say the Game On Calgary stuff that was done by the two of you looked phenomenal. So I'm just only so much more excited to see what both you as well as the rest of the Game On hosts on the Game Over network can do. So I will keep my lips sealed with the rest of stuff we got going on, but just heads up that is coming back in the near future. So be excited for that. Now, third period of tonight's game. Another takeaway that I wanted to talk about, and I thought it was only fitting that we would use the third period of the show to talk about it, is just how good of a team the Flames have been in the third period. I believe there was a stat thrown on Sportsnet, and this was before the game tying goal came in, that 51.3 of the Flames goals across the entire season have come in the third period. And if I did the math correctly, I believe that is 21 of 40 goals across the span of this season currently have all been scored in the third period. So, I mean, what that tells me at least is you can't really give up on this team because their best periods are arguably in the most crucial points in a game. And tonight was no different. You know, we kind of, based on how that second period in Boston went tonight, I don't know about you, Anand, but I wouldn't say I wrote off the Flames, but I wasn't expecting too much in the third, and boy, like, was I dead wrong. Boston had their chances, but Wolf came up to play, and then obviously goals from Sharon Govich and Kadri brought this team right back into it. So what have you thought of the Flames' third periods, at least tonight, but even this season?
Yeah, I think two really close examples on third periods. I think the game against Montreal Canadiens last game, and now tonight against Boston Bruins. I think we all thought the Flames won't do it. We thought the Flames are done, but somehow I don't know if it's the locker room discussions that they have. I don't know if it's one player pumping their jacks. I don't know what it is, but they kind of bounce back all the time in the third periods, and we have seen it evidently in these two games. And kudos to them for sticking around. We know they're going through changes in the with the trend, and we know we are expecting more draft picks, if you want to say. But how they fight resilient, how they play with the team, I think it's a whole new aura, or the vibes are immaculate, like Mackenzie Vigor says. I think overall they've done a decent job in that front. Third period comebacks, I think they've surprised most fans, and it's so amazing to see because it gives the new energy that we haven't seen maybe in the past year or so.
Well said. I think, yeah, one thing you kind of learn to, or I'm slowly starting to learn with this team is, again, while they won't be the flashiest team in the league, they're not the most talented team in the league. For just about every game you'll watch, they're gonna battle right to the very end, right? Even no matter how good their opposition is, they're gonna come back. They're gonna fight till the last buzzer, and that proves to be some really good hockey games that we've seen because of it. Again, tonight was no different. Montreal was no different. And it's just been like really nice to see. I don't know. I think it was last year. Maybe it was the year before, but the Flames were statistically one of the worst third period teams. They had one of the worst win-lose records when it came to trailing after two, right? So this team is a completely opposite team in that sense that, more often than not, we might see the Flames kind of trailing in the third, heading into the third, and they'll find a way to crawl back and they'll find a way to battle back in this. And again, we saw it tonight in Boston. We saw it in Montreal. And I think you could even make the exception. Again, the Flames unfortunately did lose to the hockey team that is north of us that I don't like to say their name, but we were trailing heading into that third and we came back to tie it up and eventually dropped it in regulation. But still, like, this team has proven time in, time out that they're going to battle right to the very end. Do you maybe have like an idea? You mentioned a little bit about some locker room stuff kind of motivating the guys to come back in, but like, what do you think is different between the second and the third period that kind of gives the Flames the opportunity to kind of bounce back?
I think it's just, we are not insiders. We don't know what happens inside the locker room. But I think it's maybe one or two players motivating. Maybe it's a Kuzmenko with his personality. Maybe it's a Sharangovich, the Lego man. Maybe it's a Lomberg. Maybe it's a Kirkland. A lot of good stories within the team. Or even maybe it's the younger guys like a Coronato Zari. Maybe it's those younger guys saying, hey man, let's not give up. Let's try this. We'll do it. I think that's the motivation. And then I think maybe getting that extra bit of break, relax, and then come back into the third period. I think that does the solution. I think apart from that, I don't know if there is a real good answer on the comeback motive front.
Yeah, I mean, you're very right. We have no idea what goes on in that locker room, but I would say I feel like this team, at least to me, they seem quite close. They seem quite connected, and obviously, like, that is the foundation of having a good team. And so I also think you can't. We got to shout out the Flames captain too, right? Michael Backlund. He's kind of been here for over 1,000 games. He knows this team. He he's the epitome of what it means to be a Flame, and I'm sure in that locker room he's also kind of motivating the team to kind of, hey, like, let's kick it into high gear here, and I'm sure he's quite the motivator as well. So yeah, I guess, like, again, third periods are I guess the Flames' forte this season. You can't really count them out. Makes for good hockey, and just it definitely keeps us on the edge of our seat as well. I guess, do we want to switch to our overtime period, or is there anything else you kind of want to tack on to a third period push from the Flames? I guess. Sorry, I'll let you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about Coronato and the kids. We talked about Dustin Wolf. We talked about the power play struggles. We talked about third period comebacks. I think we have hit all the points from at least my end, what we had planned to talk about. I think, yeah, it's going to be surprising year. Honestly, I'm going to say this now. It's going to be surprising year. I mean, we're still early, but we don't know what this Flames team is just yet. Give it some more games, maybe down the road, 20, 30 games in. We'll maybe have a different mindset or different accountability of this team as well.
I agree for sure. I definitely feel like this identity of this team hasn't been quite set yet, which is good. Again, I mean, we have to consider it's still very early on to the season here. Last thing I kind of wanted to touch on before we kind of open up to talk to all of our fantastic viewers is, again, one of the storylines that I touched on heading into this is the reunion of Elias Lindholm, Nikita Zadorov, and the Boston Bruins. Obviously, this is the first time we're playing these guys. First of two, we'll see them this season. I can't say I saw much from the Bruins blue liner, Zadorov, today, but I mean, I do unfortunately kind of want to talk about the overtime winner that went down tonight. Obviously, Rasmus Andersson got pinned behind the back of the net by his Swedish counterpart Elias Lindholm, and that kind of led to a puck getting coughed up to Brad Marchand in the slot, who kind of made the Flames pay. So I feel like I didn't really see much from Lindholm. I can't say that I'm willingly trying to root against the former Flames. I see Conrad in the chat says all my homies hate Elias Lindholm, which is fair, I guess. You can't. It's just like a your ex in the sense, right? But obviously Lindholm was a pretty prime factor in that overtime goal. And then again, it's just the first of two times we're gonna see those guys in Boston. So yeah, we'll switch gears into the final segment of the show, our overtime period. Again, before we do though, we just wanted to share another fun fact with the Game Over Network, and that is we have merch. I actually ordered some shirts myself today, which are on the way. I can't wait to start repping the Game Over Network. But yeah, what better way to support something you love than by rocking it as clothing? So Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique designs. Whether you feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design, which is currently on sale, or you want to wear your love for goalies proudly with the Live and Die by the Goalie design, or if you just need another coffee to get through the winter with our coffee mugs, we have you covered. Designed by Brady Chalice from Game Over Winnipeg. Use the QR code, which I'm going to pop up on the stream right now, to head over to our store, take a look at the apparel that we've got going on, and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. As I said, I just picked up some of the established tees. Cannot wait to wear them. They look great. I've seen pictures of them. Obviously, I'm going to be super excited to get them when they actually come in the mail for me. But yeah, buy our merch. It's awesome. It's helping support us getting the Game Over Network out there. So yeah, we'd all really appreciate it. Click the QR code that's on the screen, or just head over to our website and you can find our apparel line there as well. Period 4. I guess this is the time that we can open up the floor to everybody kind of watching. If they have any questions, they want to talk about anything with us. I guess while we kind of wait for stuff to flood in here, I'll flip this to you, Anand. I know the two of us are on the call for Saturday morning's game with the Buffalo Sabres. What are you kind of hoping to see from the Flames in that matinee?
Yeah, I think the same style of play, at least improving the power play a bit. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if we see another Dustin Wolf start. We are on a road trip. Possibility Dustin Wolf starts again, of how amazing he has been tonight. And then I think, I think that's about it. Play another good game, maybe come back again if need be, and play with grit. Start with fire. Don't let yourself down early. I think those are the few tips that I would like to see come Saturday.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you in that sense. It'll be a big game for everybody, and it'll be more of like a younger team in the Sabres, and maybe that haven't quite been tested too much at this level. So it'll provide a good kind of measuring stick for the Flames. Now I'm just looking in our chat here, and we've got our Takai number 1, who's always in the chat. Shout out to you. Appreciate you always chatting with us. We love getting your questions. Are we better than the second place Kings? I believe we're currently tied with the Kings for second in the Pacific. We are, but the Kings have the advantage over us just because their point percent is higher than us. They've won more games in regulation. Are we better than them? Great question. I mean, I don't think we'll have to see when the Flames actually play them for the first time. I feel like on paper the Kings are a pretty good team. They got a lot of young guys that are really kind of stepping up for them this year. I know a bright spot for the Kings that we didn't really expect. I believe it's Alex Lafreniere. Ferrier, if I'm not good with names, but he's kind of had a pretty big breakout campaign for them. And then you've got your Kopitars that are, always firing on all cylinders, as well as your like the Kempes of the world as well. So where are you kind of sitting, Anand, with that kind of comparison?
Yeah, I think the Kings will be a good underdog team, if you want to say. They have had their own struggles like the Flames have, and they have shown some great talent as well. So it will be interesting. I think we play them as early as Monday coming up on Remembrance Day, if I am not mistaken. So that will be another good game to watch as well. Few different schedules coming up for the Flames, so it will be great to see. Of course, Sabres are really young team. You just said about Kings have some veterans, some young players that they can rely on. So it will be a good different schedule for Kings, the Flames, and even the Kings may be coming ahead as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can never go wrong with a battle of Pacific Division clubs as well. So, like I said, I feel like on paper the Kings might have the edge. With them making the playoffs last year as well. Too, they're I feel like they're one of the teams that are kind of on the swing up. I think they did a pretty good job rebuilding around some pretty young guys like Brant Clark's on the blue line. You got a guy like Alex Turcotte that's playing games with them finally too. So I think those guys are kind of on the swing up, and I mean they've already made the playoffs for 2 years in a row too. So it'll be a real good test for the Flames. I mean, I can't say there's been many games the Flames have played this season that hasn't been a test, but again, I mean, even in October, November, these Pacific Division or all Pacific Division matchups are really gonna be big ones if you're trying to make the playoffs, right? Like the game on Monday will be technically a game worth 4 points, right? And with the Flames and Kings tied in the standings right now, if the Flames want to kind of potentially make a push to the playoffs, it is a big game that they'll need to step up for and be ready for. So, yeah. Again, any other questions? Feel free to throw in the chat. We'll stick around for a couple more minutes here to see if anything else comes through. I guess Anand, we were talking briefly off the stream today, but you've got a bit, or you've had a start. Oh my goodness, I can't speak. You've had a busy start to your week already, and it's only going to get busier as the weekend rolls around. What do you have on the go this weekend?
Yeah, this weekend, busy week for me. I am so tomorrow, the at the Calgary McMahon Stadium. Apparently, they're doing a special announcement. So that's part of my say broadcasting program. They are doing a special announcement. I believe the Grey Cup is going to be hosted. I'm not going to send out any secrets. But I think they have a presser tomorrow at McMahon, so I'm going to head to that and cover as a student reporter as well. And then secondly, I have a couple PA announcing games at the Rocky Mountain Classic. That's a big tournament, under 15 great talent. Come, do check it online. It's available on HN Live. Kudos to them. And then I think Matt, you are also going to be there maybe for a couple games to shoot some content. I believe you told me. And then as well, I'll be doing PA announcing for a couple games. And then to end of the weekend, that's where I'm at this weekend, Rocky Mountain Classic, Winsport. Or I think I may have a couple volleyball games as well tomorrow to do play-by-play or PA announcing for Say Trojan. So that's something exciting too.
Very, very busy weekend on deck for you. Yeah, the Rocky Mountain Classic is being held at the Winsport Arenas in Calgary. That's where you can catch the kind of very, very young up-and-coming hockey stars that you're going to see in the junior hockey ranks, as well as hopefully, I mean, we might be talking about them in if we're still around in a couple of or quite a bit of years as well too. So if you have nothing going wrong, definitely support some local junior hockey or local youth hockey there. And yeah, I think we're gonna wrap things up tonight. Again, Flames fall to the Bruins in overtime. Stole an extra point. on the road. I mean, you can't complain. Currently, they've got 3 out of 4 points they could potentially get on this road trip, and they're going to round it out for a matinee game against Buffalo on Saturday. I believe puck drop is 11:30 Mountain Time, 11:30 a.m. Mountain Time, and again, both Anand and I will be on the call for that. So yeah,
We'll just switch chairs. I'll
yeah,
take on the
exactly.
host. Matt will come on co-host.
We'll be switching hosts, and Anand will do a way better job than I will. But we hope to see everybody there, and hope to see the Flames kind of keep this semi-hot streak going. But just wanted to shout all of our audience out for tuning in once again tonight. Subscribe, like, reshare if you enjoyed, reshare if you didn't. Either way, we love any kind of traction we could get. Tell your friend, tell your parents, tell a stranger you meet at the supermarket. Doesn't matter. Just help us grow this amazing Game Over network that we're a part of, and the bigger we grow, the more and more content we can do. So yeah, thank you all for watching. And Anand, anything else?
No, that's everything.
Sweet.
Once again, early game on Saturday. Tune in and have a good night and have a great weekend as well.
Absolutely.